Hey guys, this is your host Car. This is my first video, and today we are going to do analysis on Novo Nordisk, a very premium share, pharmaceutical giant. And today I would do a fundamental analysis of this particular share, fundamental technical analysis of the share, and we would try to go deep into what I think about this particular counter and what are my thoughts on fundamental and technical side. Please remember, this is not a financial advice. Do consult your financial advisor for any sort of financial decision. So let's just jump directly into it. So if you probably would have seen in the news that the oral Wegovy pill is the swing factor for this particular counter, and the dominant catalyst is the US launch of oral Wegovy pill, which is oral semaglutide, which has driven a sentiment turnaround after a rough 2024, 2025. If we see a 3-month time frame chart, so this has been a rough ride, bumpy ride, close to 76% correction, and right now it looks like a turnaround, but what my thoughts are, I would probably like to share it. See, on a weekly and if you see it on a weekly time frame, still nothing has changed. A lot has been talked about in social media and everywhere, but if you see, it's still not able to claim the weekly average. It's not above and beyond the weekly average. It has just tested one candle, and everywhere the headlines are like that. This has conquered, like it has conquered something and that going upward, and the whole narrative is around that oral semaglutide pill, the oral Wegovy pill. In quarter 1 2026, I think it reported on May 6th, first quarter pill sales were hit 2.26 billion kroners, which is roughly around some 353 million US dollars, roughly double the analyst estimates. The pill tailed close to 1.3 million prescription its first quarter, with cumulative prescriptions since launch. I think it surpassed 2 million or something. But again, that's just one pill and nothing changes on a major time frame. So if you see the overall supports for this particular counter, so there are multiple 4 layers of resistance areas that I think. So this is a custom strategy that I've built, and it clearly mentions that like the TRS is trend reversal signals. So right now what you're getting is BUS, which is break of support. So there are 4 layer of supports like 400, 520, 655, and 930. And primary reason, when it, unless until it claims 350, we cannot say that trend has reversed. And if you see it on a monthly time frame, this becomes more clear. So I'll try to do a more thorough analysis of the financials and technical to see how do I see this stock and what should be your overall analysis of this particular stock. So the headline speed was largely but partially mechanical. If you see, the most of the headlines look like let me open Excalibur window as well so that we can literally mention whatever I'm saying. We can take notes. So majority of headlines were something like this. Uh, Reported net sales of 96.2 billion kroners, up 24% with operating profit of this many kroners. But this was heavily bolstered by a one-time provision reversal related to the 340 billion drug pricing program. So obviously these benefits are short-term gains, but if you see a long-term chart, the picture becomes pretty clear. So unless and see, almost always this stock assured long period of consolidations. Like if you take a ruler and try to measure it, it minimum took some 546 days of consolidation. And right now, where we are in the window, we are just likely reaching that duration somewhere around like mid 2027. So if we historically do that analysis, let's not do historical analysis, see the chart. So unless until something drastic happens on a weekly, so any move that confirms on a monthly time frame is a move that you should worth your energy on. And if you see the volumes, they're barely above the historical moving averages, and most of them are on selling side. So be very mindful of all these factors around when you take a decision. And there have been several approvals which have expanded the moat, like FDA approval, Wegovy HD. I think the 7.2 mega mg injection on March 19, providing 20.7% mean weight loss, the highest efficiency for Wegovy to date, has yet to being approved. Analyst reviews are like, if you ask me, bull case, first mover led in oral obesity therapies, holding against Lilly, record breaking US launch, European Union approval opens a large new market in H2. high margins, low PE, solid dividends. So let's check on the fundamental side as well. Like imagine if let's assume if we check the revenues have been increasing. Earnings, if you see, earnings also are on rise. Price history, if you see, the price has corrected a lot. Looks like an opportunity. You have to decide whether it's a landmine or a gold mine. But if you see PEP is trading at a historical low average of 8.56, and market cap to sales or price to sales, that also loads in on the cyclicality that it's right now trading at 3.14. All this looks very attractive, and historically, if you see from past 10 years, it has been trading at an average of 5.5. Right now, you're getting it at 3.14. Looks like an opportunity, but obviously, we should wait for a trend reversal signal. We should not jump in front of a wagon assuming that market seems it is discounted, because always corrections are more painful. Like if you see the last correction, it was 50%. Prior to that, the other mega correction was somewhere around 61%, and right now we have already corrected somewhere around 78%. So we feel like we always assume that this is the end, but unless until market confirms in a larger time frame, nothing is ending soon. So my overall opinion, like the bear case, if I write bull and bear case both, so try to write it down here. So let me, oh my god, that's a bad decision. Let me just paste them one by one. So a bull case. First thing, first mover in oral obesity therapy in holding against Lilly, record-breaking US launch, EU approval, which I would just reiterate. The beer case is more interesting. The first thing that I would like to highlight is the core Ozempic and diabetes is shrinking under pricing pressure. So whole this market is shrinking. Targisema disappointed, like showing inferior to Zepbound's Novo's own study, which had pushed the stock to a 5-year low. Lilly's Fundiamo ramp is expected to build through quarter 2, and US tariff and pricing risk are always there. And with this increasing geopolitical tensions around, you should wait, I think, for a trend reversal signal and then only jump onto this stock. Overall, if you see the overall technical wise, like on the technical signals on the short term time frame, they give a strong buy, and oscillators also giving a buy signal. Most of the signals on the on the lower time frames are of buy, but you should be like the moment you change these signals to a monthly time frame, the whole picture changes, because most of these signals are on a sell side. So as a retail investor, we always have only one and one edge on our side, that is our time frame. The greater your time frame is, the more edge you have, and the lower your time frame is, like the lower you go, like it adds more and more noise. You can give a counter argument that every decision tries to build on a daily time frame, then on a weekly, and then on a monthly, but daily, weekly, and monthly, there is a high rejection rate. So with that rejection rate, there is a strong tendency of losing your capital. So take a mindful call. That was my overall analysis of Novo Nordisk. We can go further in detail. If you really like it, please add your comments. I can do a lengthy video on this specific counter and explain more of the value, more of the fundamental side of things in more detail. How do I look the overall guidance from the community, and overall documents that have been released by the uh, press briefings and rest of the documents and earnings call. I was going through the transcript, and it looked really interesting. And there are a lot of counter arguments that can go back and forth. But once again, really thankful you guys for stopping by on, and thank you so much, guys. It really means a lot. Bye.